3 of those starting linebackers were called for personal fouls last week.
Don, I tell you, one of the problems that the New England Patriots are going to have is when the Bears go to that real rush and pressure defense like they showed there, the offensive lineman must identify who is their responsibility and who the backs are supposed to block. So you can understand Pete Brock trying to snap the ball 8 yards deep to Tony Eason and still looking for who he's got to block. There's going to be some confusion sometimes, and they just can't panic. Just keep your head here.
First down now and 25.
Fumble.
Ball, but James picks it up. Gets a little back to the 30. We had a chance to visit some length last night with Raymond Berry, the coach of the Patriots, and he said, you can draw things up on the board, but he said then you have to deal with reality. When you play Chicago, you don't have time to execute plays like you like the passing plays. You've got to get the ball away in a hurry. Your quarterback's going to be on his back.
Yeah, no question. One of the problems the New England Patriots have is just 7 days to prepare for this Chicago Bear defense. It's a very difficult defense to settle in your player's mind if this is the way we'll attack it, and it'll work.
We've got 2 coaches who've done some catching. Between them, Berry and Ditka caught over 1,000 passes during their playing careers. Berry had well over 600, going to the Hall of Fame. Tip ball. And it'll be 3rd down and about 22.
That was intended for Derek Ramsey, and he was open.
Wilber Marshall appeared to get a hand on the ball. He's playing outside linebacker, number 1 out of Florida a year ago. He's moved in as a starter because Al Harris is still away, who was the starter. He and Todd Bell want more money.
I think they're the only 2 holdouts left in the NFL, too, aren't they?
No, the Giants have an all-pro corner.
Mike Haynes.
Out. A lot of them have the same agent, though.
Yeah, New England 0 of 3 in 3rd down conversion so far today.
From the shotgun on 3rd and 22. Tony Eason standing back. 4-man rush. Loops it out with the ball. Very nicely is Derwin Williams, but he's going to be way short of a first down as Williams is out to the 40-yard line. Got 9, but the Patriots have to punt the ball.
Leslie Frazier on the tackle. One of the guys that the New England Patriots want to get into the ball game is Stanley Morgan. Last time these 2 teams played, this guy had receptions for 130 yards. But you can, what is that? Looked like Greco-Roman wrestling there at the line of scrimmage. That's really stretching the 1 bump rule.
Stanley Morgan, his statistics over his career, he's caught over 300 passes and averaged almost 21 yards a catch.
He can go.
Buford ready to punt it now. Back in is Camarillo to punt it. And back deep is Ken Taylor for the Bears. On the run, fields it nicely. He's swept under. But good field position. That's at the 32-yard line with 12:21 to play in the first half. And we'll be back to Soldier Field in a moment. Back at Soldier Field, Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. Bears lead early in the 2nd quarter, 7-0. As McMahon takes a look after a play fake, he unloads long. Way too long. Going for the ball was Ken Marjoram. Not a real fast receiver, but a sure-handed one from Stanford. Philly getting closer now. Another field goal by Paul McFadden, and it's a 10-6 game. Rams leading at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Interesting choice of play calls there. McMahon now 4 of 8, 55 yards and a touchdown, but I wonder why they would go so deep there so quick.
That's interesting, Trump. He's looking to get a lot in a hurry, McMahon. He's gone deep a lot here.
Yeah, but
once for 7.
To Marjoram,
6.
he's not the quickest receiver you have. Galt can run by anybody.
Calvin Thomas in motion on 2nd and 10. Here's McMahon. Nice strike. Down to his tight end, Emery Moorhead, and he is across the midfield line for a 20-yard gain, and the Chicago Bears crossing the New England area.
Much better choice. Play action fake to Walter Payton. Ran Thomas in motion. The defense had to wait to see if Walter Payton was going to get the ball. That freed Emery Moorhead wide open. And the Bears so far in the preseason and the first game of the 1985 season, it seems that when they throw the ball to the tight end, good things happen. And this team has really not given their tight ends much respect since Mike Ditka left eons ago.
That's the first time they've gone to a tight end in the game, and now McMahon lost one out in the far flank. A nice play by Marjoram. Those are the sure hands. He caught a ton of balls from John Elway when they're both at Stanford.
13-yard catch by Marjoram.
Mets have had trouble at Montreal. They're winning right now. Mets trailing in the National League East, so on half game behind the Cardinals starting the day.
Comment from Marjoram. He missed the entire season last year with a bad knee. I'm happy to see him back on the field. Orthopedic surgery nowadays, since Bob Costas in NFL 85 is talking about injuries, the number of players who come back from major knee surgery now, the percentage is much higher back when, as opposed to when Gale Sayers or Dick Butkus played.
First down and 10. Handoff to Payton. Fumble. Free ball. Let's see who's got it. Looks like the Patriots. They do. New England gets the ball at the 37-yard line of the Patriots. So the Bears' drive is stopped, and again the Patriots take over with good field position, but they've not been close to a score. Haven't even been close to a long field goal in this game with virtually no offense. 11:20 to play in the first half, and it's a 7-0 game, Chicago.
Don Fred Marion came up the ball. Watch the way Walter carries it. Got it in both hands, and can't really tell who made the contact. Looked like Ben Thomas, who was in there playing the nose for the New England Patriots, jarred it loose. Fred Marion on the recovery.
So let's see if Eason can move now in this Bear defense. Showing blitz are the Bears. James runs right head on into hard hits. Steve McMichael, an ex-Patriot, was there, along with Mike Hartenstein. The Jets have just put up a touchdown. Freeman McNeil on a 6-yard run. They now lead the Bills 7-3.
There's number 72, William Perry again, Bears first-round draft choice. The premier power rusher in the NFL.
2nd and 9 now for New England. Eason gets time. He's intercepted. Fensick with his 32nd career interception.
Derek Ramsey, the intended receiver, stopped dead in his tracks. This is something that Tony Eason doesn't do normally. He makes good choices, but here there's double coverage. You see a little bit of the pressure, but Ramsey stopped. And of course that made it easy for Gary Fensick. Now a turnover for each team. Watch William Perry up front. Good pressure. He turns around. Now he's going to be an offensive lineman. Whoa, that's a pulling guard right there.
He's got a few of them. Now the Bears go to the run, and Walter Payton on a flea flicker throws to McMahon. Locks it up. The Patriots might get this one back.
They do. Those are the trick plays that you're talking about. That'll be a touchback. New England ball at the 20. There was good penetration by the New England Patriots at the line of scrimmage. I think Mike Dick would like to have. Now watch the penetration. You'll see who comes up through there. It looks like Toby Williams gets right up in McMahon's face. The ball never should have been thrown.
Fred Marion, who got beaten earlier, goes up against Marjoram and comes down with the ball.
That's a good rebound right there. New England ball, their own 20-yard line. McMahon can't throw that ball. He's got to take a sack, because that's another one of those trick plays, and the receiver's either open or not open. Don't try to force it in there.
I mean, you can't throw the ball in that play.
No. Just
he can
eat the ball.
Twang it.
Yeah, just eat the ball. Just go on the ground, go back, try again.
Here's incomplete going to Tony Collins, as the Patriot offense has been unable to move the ball at all against this Chicago Bear defense. As a collegian, talking about getting numbers, Jim McMahon, while at Brigham Young, quarterback as a starter, 22-3 record, and had 71 NCAA passing records when he was done. 71 national records.
I guess it's just BYU. Air up there. Everybody who's a quarterback for BYU has a fair amount of NCAA passing records.
Eason lobs it out. And Collins, coming out of the backfield on 2nd down and 10, gets ahead for about 5 or 6. Singletary got him. Mike Singletary played every down.
I like this type of offense by the New England Patriots. You employ the use of those running backs as delay receivers out of the backfield. Eason's had good time to throw, but You got to be patient. Take 5 or 6 yards at a time and try to drive it down the field here. They got 9:48 to go in the first half.
Patriots trailing in the second quarter 7-0. Eason throwing off his back foot, gets Ramsey, and he's got a first down. Wilber Marshall was with him. Eason against the big rush. Such a strong arm, he literally throwing a ball leaning back.
Ramsey did a great job there. Wilber Marshall faked the blitz. Contact between the linebacker and the tight end. Eason had time to wait for it. Ramsey gets the clearance and makes the catch. Marshall on the tackle, but not before the first down.
So the Patriots get 4 new downs with 9 minutes and 4 seconds in the clock running in the second quarter. 7-0 Chicago Bears scored on their opening possession, a 32-yard pass play from McMahon to Dennis McKinnon. James, who ran well against the Packers last Sunday at Foxborough, was knocked down by a former Patriot, Steve McMichael. He's probably very motivated to do well against the Patriots. The Patriots drafted him in the 3rd round. And he wasn't much of a player, they didn't feel, in camp, and they cut him.
There's the signals coming in from Steve Grogan on the sideline. Raymond Berry right behind him. James, 4 carries, 2 yards. I think the New England Patriots now have less than 5 yards rushing offense.
Tony Eason was a record setter at Illinois as a passer, too. He set 9 NCAA records. Coming out after McMahon. Eason takes a look. He does well with his reads. He looks all over the field, even with the rush against him. That time it was a short gain. Stanley Morgan, coming over the middle, was knocked down by Singletary.
Whoa, Mets are powering away from Montreal 4-0. It's a game that they now have to win to catch up with the St. Louis Cardinals, that's for sure.
Still a long way to go in the baseball season, though. 7:44 to go in the first half here at Chicago, where the Patriots come out trailing 7-0 with 3rd down and 3 yards. Oh, that would have been it. Leslie Frazier, who ran one back for a touchdown that turned him around last Sunday here at Soldier Field against Tampa Bay, had a play on that ball, and he had an open lane to the end zone.
Cedric Jones was the intended receiver. It appeared to be just a hitch, which is a 5-yard straight down the field pattern stop, and the quarterback throws you the ball. But Cedric Jones fell down.
Hunter's getting a lot of work today here at Chicago on a beautiful September day. Temperature in the mid-60s, clear sunny skies, sailboats out on the lake. It can get mean in Chicago as the season wears on the shores of Lake Michigan. But right now, perfect playing conditions. It is breezy as Camarillo stands in, hits another good punt downfield. Here's Ken Taylor for the Bears back at his 15. They mark him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. 46-yard punt and a 14-yard return. So Chicago's offense comes back out, and we will in a moment.
Bears' last 3 possessions, they have 87 yards passing, 51 rushing, 138 total yards. The Patriots 66 rushing, 66 passing, 4 rushing for a total of 70 yards total offense.
Now the Bears go 1st and 10 from their 29-yard line. And here comes Walter, but not very far. Did move out to the 32-yard line. Toby Williams knocked him down. Jim McMahon, the Bears quarterback, has a great attitude. He came in here and said, "We're going to win because I can't stand losing."
Well, you better tell the Patriots that.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Channel 17, WTVO Rockford.
McMahon from Jersey City, New Jersey. That is country club living in Jersey City.
Yeah, he's used to a little pressure, isn't he?
2nd down and 7. Dennis Gentry running very nicely. Gets to the 35-yard line. Will it bring up 3rd and about 4. Washington has extended its lead now to 16-3. When Dejas hit a field goal for the Oilers. Get them on the board.
Walter Payton out of the ballgame again for the Chicago Bears. Gentry, his replacement. Walter standing on the sideline. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with him. Maybe just catching his breath. Payton 9 carries, 26 yards, well below his average.
Guys that known him all, Trump, say that McMahon Kind of reminds him a little of Bobby Lane.
Bobby Lane, although McMahon's bigger than Bobby Lane.
Let's see what he does on 3rd down and 3. Gets a man. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to give him a 1st down. Marjoram right where he had to go. The Patriots threw him back 9 yards.
Oh, that's a very friendly spot.
Now back to NFL 85. Bob?
All right, Don, early in the 2nd quarter at the Meadowlands, it's Freeman McNeil from 6 yards out for the Jets' first touchdown. They go in front of the Buffalo Bills by a score of 7-3. Now let's get back to Soldier Field and the hardest working man in football, Cricky and Trumpy.
We're out there this year. We'll be there tomorrow night on NBC Radio when the Browns and the Steelers meet at Cleveland Stadium.
I'll be wearing my hard hat. How about you?
The blue collar bowl.
Yeah, you got it.
Right now, though, we have Jim McMahon firing for the Bears, and he is out to the midfield stripe. A gain of about 10 yards. Well-thrown ball, and McMahon was decked when he released it. Coming on a blitz was Steve Nelson.
The Patriots, so far today, do not have a sack, but they have been all over Jim McMahon. That time, Steve Nelson, pressure on McMahon. Couldn't really follow through. That's a great catch by McKinnon. He's having another good day.
Dennis McKinnon, 6'1", 185, in his 3rd year from Florida State. A school that's turned out a lot of good pro football players under Coach Bowden. 4:28 to play. First half, and Bears continue to lead 7-0. Matsui looks for some room and finds some. And on 1st down, he's ahead for about 8. Picking his way, Matsui, a very underrated fullback. Does everything well, particularly block.
You can see what he's picked up from Walter Payton, a little dance before he gets to the line of scrimmage. He has great faith in his offensive line. Watch the little dance. He goes, bloop, 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 and right up through that line of scrimmage. Good bow by the Chicago offensive lineman. Nice little delay for about 8 yards, 2nd and 2.
McMahon has now put the ball up 13 times, completed 8 for 101 yards and a touchdown. He's been intercepted once. Suey gets his number called again, and he responds with a 1st down carry for Chicago inside the New England 40.
The strength of this New England defense is their 2 outside linebackers. We've talked a great deal about Andre Tippett. Don Blackman last week had 3 sacks. Big guy. Look at him shed those blockers. Still get in to make the tackle on Matsui. These 2 linebackers would play for anybody in the NFL, Blackman and Andre Tippett.
Both of them with 3 sacks last week. But still, the Patriots feel their pass rush has to be better from the down linemen. 3 minutes to go now. First half, Bears moving the ball and leading in the game 7-0. McMahon with a hard throw and a great catch by McKinnon.
Well, that's
really a big league play by Dennis McKinnon. He took the punishment and held on. Great play.
That was a wide receiver sandwich. Steve Nelson on the inside, Ronnie Lippett on the outside. It's a little slant pass. Good acceleration. Now watch the hit. Goes up, knows when he comes down there's going to be Patriots all over the place. Hangs onto the football.
Nobody said this would be easy. Dennis McKinnon will pay the price.
Those are times when you wish you had a sky hook. Just kind of hang up there.
But the Bears are moving now. McMahon with a sharp passing game after the offense misfired the last few possessions. Suey, nothing. Patriot linebackers led by Nelson and Johnny Rembert were right there to make the knockdown. At halftime, we'll be going to NFL 85 and Bob Costas to update the scoreboard on this 2nd Sunday of play. Bears have a short week. They'll be against the Vikings on Thursday night. The Patriot defense has given ground grudgingly to the premier runner in the history of the game, Walter Payton. He's had to work hard, so has Suey. 9th play of the drive coming up now for Chicago. Bears leading 7-0 with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Don Cricky with Bob Trumpy. As you see the great disparity running the ball, Patriots have almost nothing at all.
Report from the bench is Walter Payton just getting a rest, probably well deserved. He has 3,047 carries coming into this season.
That's 2 the most in history. 3rd down and about a yard. McMahon puts it up.
Shouldn't have been thrown.
Oh, the ball was tipped. And yet they came down with it. Coming up with the ball was a backup tight end, Tim Reitman. A 25-yard gain.
Reitman, the first player to sign a U.S. Football League contract on this ball, should not have been thrown. You see Don Blackman, 55, right in his face. The ball is tipped by Ray Claiborne, caught by Reitman, but that one worked. I'm telling you, he's courting disaster if he throws it up like that much more often. Once again, down on this play, you'll see 55 of the New England Patriots. Don Blackman right in McMahon's face. No way this ball should have been thrown. Now, luckily, Ray Claiborne, even though he's been taking receiving drills, can't hang on to the football. I guess good teams get good breaks. That's twice now. McMahon, though, is thrown with very poor, in my estimation, very poor choices.
He was fortunate there, though, and the Bears are now challenging 1st and goal. Going right for an offensive tackle. Andy Frederick. Might have been a tackle-eligible play.
Had to be. If he's downfield and the ball is thrown, it's a penalty. It was originally designed to go to Dennis Gentry, number 29. A little delay, but it was well covered by the New England Patriots. Patriots defense got to feel pretty good right now in this first half. They've done a good job against this very potent Chicago offense. Report from the Bears bench now, Walter Payton does have a sore neck. Should return in the second half.
Suey and Gentry are the runners now for Chicago. 2nd and goal from the 5. Bears lead 7-0. Gentry pays the price as the Patriot defense again shoots the gaps on that goal line. And the clock runs down to 1:16 and ticking in the second quarter. 3rd down arises.
This drive started at the Chicago Bear 28-yard line. It was the 11th play in the drive.
3rd and goal.
Bears 3 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. But this one is 3rd and goal.
You talked earlier, Trump, about good things happening when the Bears go to their tight end. They've only thrown to Emery Moorhead once, and of course that big gainer to Reitman. Right now there's a break in the action, though, and Jim McMahon's coming over for some count. Back at Soldier Field, the Bears are down close, but they're having problems as now Walter Payton goes in with 3rd down and goal coming up from the 3-yard line of New England.
Well, Walter Payton is an excellent passer, along with being a great receiver and runner. Andy Frederick is still in the ball game, number 71, offensive tackle. Last snap he lined up as a tight end. I'd look for the option pass by Walter Payton. He's been very good in his career, percentage-wise, throwing for touchdowns. Frederick at the top of the screen is an eligible receiver, even though he's wearing number 71.
Lined up as a tight end. Another tight end over with him as a wingback, Emery Moorhead. They might be going that way with Payton. Here comes Payton. He's going to throw if he can. Incomplete. Moorhead protesting that he was interfered with, but it brings up 4th down, and the field goal kicker Kevin Butler comes up as the Bears on 3 tries. Some 1st and goal at the 5 can't get it in.
You'll see Payton come in motion and all the way. He tries to fake the run here, but I think New England's seen him throw the ball so often. Kind of in desperation, he throws it to Moorhead. That would have been an outstanding catch. Frederick was in the end zone.
And it's now going to be a 20-yard attempt for Kevin Butler, an All-America place kicker at Georgia. Nails it. 37 seconds to play in the first half, and the Bears extend their lead to 10-0. So the big play in that drive was the one that was very nearly a Patriot interception, but it got through the hands of the defender, and Reitman, the tight end, came down with it. They give the Chicago Bears a 1st and goal at the Patriot 5, but they couldn't get it in. NFL 85 coming up at halftime, a review of what's transpired in this second Sunday of play. Chicago Bears, who won their first championship of any kind in 21 years a season ago. They took the NFC Central, then went to the playoffs and beat Washington before finally losing to eventual Super Bowl champion San Francisco. The Bears have rejuvenated the football following in Chicago, one of the hallmark franchises in the league. Chicago Bear football now, again, an item of optimism here.
Saw Mike Ditka standing on the sideline. A lot of people here in Chicago wondered what kind of head coach I'm thinking of Dick Butkus. Mike Ditka would be. He's now given credit for turning around this franchise. Doing an excellent job from top to bottom, not only in player selection and coaching, but in just steadying the entire franchise since Papa Bear left. How about that drive? 13 plays, 68 yards, 6 minutes and 39 seconds, and time-wise, this first half has been totally dominated by the Chicago Bears.
Ditka was an all-pro player for that last NFL championship team for the Bears back in '63. 5 times an all-pro player. Caught over 420 passes as a player with Chicago and Philadelphia and Dallas. High kick downfield, and here comes Starring. Devin Starring's across the 20. He's out to the 22, so the Patriots get the ball, but with little time to move it. 32 seconds on the first half clock as Coach Berry counts as his quarterback, Tony Eason, who's only been sacked once. Singletary got him the one time.
And the only yardage they've really been able to gain in this first half has been passing. That's the weakness of this Chicago Bear defense. Most coaches will tell you that if you face a blitzing team, they are trying to disguise a weakness somewhere. That weakness is the defensive backs of the Chicago Bears, and it's been well exploited by New England.
Bears in command at 10-0. The Patriots have played sound defense. They've forced 2 Chicago turnovers, but the Patriots unable to move with consistency. Go to the run. James goes over and doesn't get much as he's run down very quickly. Coming over to make the stop at him was William Perry, who at 320 pounds can run.
320 pounds. That's got to be a misprint. There is a flag on the play. Face mask against Chicago, and William Perry made the tackle. Can we make that assumption? The thing that surprises a lot of people about William Perry.
72 defense. First down.
That is William Perry. Things that surprise a lot of people, just how quick he is for his size. Sheds a blocker, gets out there, and James says, oh, thank God. John Hancock Tower is about to tackle.
Ken Baldessari, the Bears director of information, said when Perry came to town, everybody talked about how they're going to get his weight down, but he said the first thing we did was took him over to a rib house and had the TV crews get him eating 3 slabs of ribs. It's a tough start. We're telling this guy to lose weight, then we want to see how much he can eat.
Yeah.
Eason dropping. He's got a problem and runs away from it. Throws on the run. He's got a man. Williams is open. He's out to the 49-yard line. Beautifully done. Derwin Williams open, and Eason with a great arm gets the ball right to him with 16 seconds left. The Patriots call a timeout. 21-yard gain.
Fensick on the tackle. Eason does one thing very well. He's got that good presence that a lot of quarterbacks have. He can feel the pressure before it actually gets there. He throws the ball, and Williams running a good pattern.
Gain of 21.
Good tackle by Fensick. 21 yards.
On the field.
Let's watch the pass rush of William Perry. Number 72 at least 320 pounds. Pete Brock.
The guy draws a crowd.
Yeah, he's being double teamed and
fallen upon. I'll tell you something. One of the most amazing things I've heard, Bob, about Perry. Bill Parcells, the coach of the Giants, was asked about William Perry when Buddy Ryan had said he was a draft mistake. And Parcells, the Giants coach, said if he keeps his weight down, I think he can be the greatest defensive lineman of all time. And they said, now wait a minute, you're saying all time. He said of all time. That's how much ability I think he has.
But the only problem is, Don, if at 21 he fights a weight problem, what will he have to do at 28?
Fight a weight problem.
Yes, but I mean, eventually it gets so much that you just can't handle it anymore.
I tell you, he's a great kid too. He's got a personality that lights up a stadium. He's going to be a popular guy here in Chicago. Maybe not with other offenses. First down and 10. 12 seconds left as second down arises for the Patriots.
Wilbur Marshall on the coverage. Bears came with the all-out rush there.
I think this is the first time the Patriots have been across midfield. They're just by the nose of the ball across it.
Well, they have 7 rushes for 6 yards. This first
They
half
won't get it done.
No, this first half has been totally dominated by the Chicago Bears.
We first saw Perry at the Orange Bowl, and they were saying this guy can dunk a basketball. He weighed 340 at the time. There wasn't a basketball around, but he took a football and with one step went up over the crossbar and slammed it down. That's 10 feet up. Eason sacked for a second time. That was Singletary coming on the blitz. His second sack.
Last week the Bears got but 2 sacks, and with their 72 sacks in the 1984 season, that averages about 4.5 sacks a ball game. So they've got some making up to do. Patriots again take a timeout. Of course, when you're sacked, the clock stops in the last 2 minutes, and then when everything is set, the quarterback is up and everything's coming out of the right spot, then they start the clock again.
Singletary with 2 sacks today. Last week, Richard Dent had 2 sacks against Tampa Bay. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. 7 seconds to play in the first half. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy, with the Bears in the lead 10-0 on their home field, opening with 2 home games.
Don, you jinxed the New England Patriots. You said the first time they've been across the 50-yard line, and then Eason gets sacked.
Now they're back to their 43 with 7 seconds left, so we're going to see a very strong right arm put the ball up into the end zone here.
I would certainly think so. They've got the players to get down underneath the pass into the end zone, and Eason certainly has the arm.
He is brilliant.
Hope for a pass interference penalty or just a lucky catch, a tipped ball.
3rd and 18.
Tony Eason and Jim McMahon, his counterpart, are the only players in collegiate history who passed for 3,000 yards, more than 3,000 in 2 seasons as collegiates.
There's a track team up there on the top of the screen.
And a lot of Bears to defend against them. Here's Eason on the last play of the first half. Lets her fly. It's like volleyball, and the Bears get it. Intercepted. Richard Dent has the ball. They say Dent's fast enough to play linebacker, and they had him downfield and covered that play. So a loud out closes the first half for the Patriots. Fun in New York.
Caligula? Anybody who can get Caligula in at a halftime of a football game deserves some award. I'm not sure anyone else will ever get it after Axe gets it.
I like Diogenes. We could apply him to coaching. Diogenes said when the pupil fails, perhaps the teacher should be punished.
You're talking over my head now. Let's get back to the stats of the game here. As we documented, look at the numbers there. 2 turnovers each. One, that interception by Tony Eason at the end of the half was the first time in Tony Eason's professional career he's thrown 2 interceptions in 1 football game. But as I said earlier, I don't think the Chicago Bears would list that half as one of the best halves they've ever played, and yet they lead 10-0, are totally dominating the New England Patriots. And I'm not sure where you go if you're Raymond Berry.
Well, I think Eason looks good. I mean, I think you've got to throw on the team, and the Bears they're suspect at the corners. They were beaten badly. They gave up 4 first-half touchdowns to Tampa Bay. They're showing blitz a lot less. They've been successful with it, with Singletary getting 2 sacks, but there's no question that Eason is very mobile. He's quick-footed, nimble, with a great arm. I think they can move. You've got to throw. They can't run on this team.
They haven't so far been able to run, just 7 yards rushing. But the thing about it is that the longer you play the Chicago Bears, the more you put your quarterback in jeopardy. This is where the Chicago Bears got on the board first. Good scramble by McMahon. Excellent throw to McKinnon on the move. And that's a 32-yard touchdown after 3 minutes and 3 seconds, 69 yards. And then Kevin Butler made it 10-0 with this 30-yard field goal. And that was a rather easy drive, and that was a big play. McMahon should not have thrown a pass. Reitman catches it for a big first down, but they could not get it in the end zone. And the Bear defense starts the second half as they'll kick off to the New England Patriots.
Big burly Mike Ditka locked in now as part of the franchise. He's done a great job for Chicago.
Yeah, I heard somebody in Chicago say that you judge the Bears' success in football on whether or not the head coach has broken his hand. 2 years ago, they had a losing record, broken hand. Last year, winning record, no broken hand.
Right now, the kickoff is carried down to Stephen Starring from 3 yards deep. Here he comes. Penalty markers. Starring is out across the 25-yard line. Ken Taylor ran him out of bounds. And a man, as you see, is down now for Chicago.
There is a flag on the flag.
So the Patriots send out their offense. 1st and 10. The signal is going to be against Chicago and offsetting penalties.
Got to do it again then.
Underrated player right there. Big Calvin Thomas from Illinois.
This Chicago Bear franchise has a lot of
Offside, number 80 and 33 on the kicking team. Holding 67 of the receiving team. 3 flags.
They'll try it again. They got a lot of good players on this Chicago Bear football team. They really do. Hampton